Hi, welcome to week 5, everyone. In Dr. Altenberg's lecture this week, I really liked her list of the things that we should avoid. The avoid that I don't avoid very often is the dominating space. I am really scared of silence, I think. Especially if I'm nervous, I often will fill the silence with questions or comments about the weather, or maybe asking a person what they ate for lunch. Silence is a big fear of mine, so that is something that I will definitely be working on during my week in practicum this week. I have to also be careful with that because the population that I'm working with, if I don't say anything at all, no one will speak to me. So I definitely have to play both cards of that with this population. From the chapter this week, chapter 7, I really appreciated on page 181 and 182. It talks about overusing phrases. I worked as a barista in high school, and I gathered some phrases that I said over and over and over again. I think it was a way to work on airplane mode, so to say, and kind of turn my brain off. That habit has trickled into my everyday life. So I'm unlearning to use those phrases, especially in those moments where it's silent and nothing's going on. I will kind of spark those random comments. So that's something I'm definitely unlearning. And then in the beginning of the chapter this week, it said something that I really resonated and liked. That is our job to convey hope while exploring prospects of change. I just really liked that, and it definitely stood out to me this week. And then the maladaptive communication pattern that I often fall into is question stacking. The textbook also called this double-barreled questions, I think. I liked question stacking better. I often am thinking really fast, and so I'll throw a few questions out, and I understand that that's probably not the best thing to do, so it's definitely something that I'm becoming more aware of, especially with the population I am working with schizophrenia. They often have a lot of internal stimuli that's going on. And so asking one question, sometimes that's hard for them to process. So asking 2 questions at the same time, I'm sure is really challenging to process and answer. So that's something I definitely specifically need to work on and pay attention to, because I'm really setting up a barrier for my clients if I'm not asking clear questions that are easier to process. Anyways, that's all I had for today.